There yet? Ian, where are you? Ian, get out of bed. Ian, you like it? Yes. Ian, you can thank the lovely lady by the name of Crouton Bear in America, Houston, Texas. She sent that over to me. I want to answer back a couple of Ian's questions. Ian sent me a great email. Yep. Just try again, Ian. Sorry, Ian. What's I rocker from Mr. Hominoid? I've been on YouTube, Mr. Hominoid, tune it. On Tuesday, the 14th of December. You want Ian or I rocker? That answers the question, right? Ian, do you want Ian or I rocker on your special order gift? And did you see my USA flag video? And I'm doing Gross Valley, driving there on my never seen before vehicle on camera, which I wrote you the name, sent you a Bathurst special card. Read it's in as it was in the car as I went around Mount Panorama. Right back. G'day, mate. Now this thing got me confused. I think this is the day before or the day after I wrote that. I don't know. I get confused. I'm not a young bloke, mate. I'm not a real computer guy. Ian writes back to me. Right, says, "G'day, mate. I love it. Good on you, mate." Yeah, right. Wow, thanks so much for this. I cannot wait to watch it. Appreciate it. Please let me know if you have any questions, and feel free to contact me anytime. If you take a while to respond, if he takes a while to respond, I apologise as I'm trying to keep up with all the emails. So it obviously means there's a lot of Australians out there and a lot of people love Ian for what he is, and will eventually reply. Glasses, thumbs up. Thank you again for your support and being there. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers, Ian O'Rocker. On Thursday the 9th, Mr. Hominoid, I wrote on YouTube something. Teaching Australian Aussie slang to Americans. Oh, that's a video you're talking about. Oh, that one. Oh, look, I do some videos. It's not funny. Right. I have a very special thing to explain to you, Ian. I've been very privileged in this great country of ours down under in my old age. I'm one of the very few Australians that was lucky enough to. I'm just going to adjust that. Yeah, I know I got shit behind me. Don't worry about that. I'm an old man. I'm going to let that crap behind me. Look, how many grandpas you go around and see the house? They've got junk everywhere, right? And I was reading a lot of the comments. Now, I could sit here and read all your comments on your live stream where I said, "Hey, Ian, that bloody Paul, what are you going to do and listen to him for?" Yeah, right. Ian knows people that I used to do voiceovers make funny noises. Like, Paul, can we adjust the budget this weekend and, make sure that all Australians get an extra $1 million in the pay packet? Yeah, but I'm a bit old doing Bob Hawke now. But anyway, I done a Bob Hawke story, so I just threw it together. I threw it up. Whether or not it gets through YouTube, I don't know. I lived under Bob Hawke, one of Australia's greatest prime ministers, re-elected 4 times in a row. And then finally got stabbed in the back, eventually by his own Labor Party. First prime minister ever to be stabbed in the back by his own party. So, Ian, this is for you. This live stream is for Ian O'Rocker. And of course, Crouton Bear, because if it wasn't for Crouton Bear in America, I wouldn't have. Where'd you start? Oh, sorry, Ian. I lost all your stars. There you go, mate. Which one's yours? Is that Illinois or is that one? I know it's one of them. Anyway. Right. Ian, the story behind Mr. Hominoid. What did I do? I started my life out as a young guy in a country town, milking cows, the age of 12. Mother died at the age of 11. Got thrown into the wind, so to speak. Father went one way onto his railway career. I love my father very much. No, this is not going to be a downhill sob story. Got my life together, worked on the railways, left the railways. I was in there for about 5 or 8 years or whatever. Done my engineering degrees. And then I went and got my cab license, and I said down there on another YouTube, first hit I got my L's. Right, you got a yellow L plate, a red P plate, and a green plate, blue, red, and a green P plate. Right, to answer your question on camera, everybody's probably wrote into you, and you're probably reading all these emails, which luckily I don't get. I mean, because I wouldn't have time to do what you do. I couldn't sit there and read 500 emails on the same thing. I mean, I'll send you back a comment occasionally if I read through everybody else's comment. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Somebody missed something, right? I got one of those deficit disorders. Everything's got to be dead spot on, right? Everything's got to be right. Now people say, oh, you're up yourself. No, I got punched in the back of the head. Now you heard about stories where people get a brain tumor and they wake up 20 years later, or somebody has a car crash, or there's a rare deformity where there's a girl in Melbourne or Adelaide, and she woke up and she had she's white Caucasian Australian, and now she's got a Chinese accent, some sort of foreign language accent syndrome, right? She woke up with a foreign accent. She's sitting, the friend saying, "What's all this? What are you talking like a Chinese for?" Right? Things in this world happen to people. I got punched in the back of the head, 28th of August 93. I was found by the Rose Bay detectives down in Sydney driving my cab. My brain swelled up, and the brain surgeon said, "You're going to have a bruised brain for about the next 11 years." And now I'm going to put credit to that, because the brain surgeon, who was a brain surgeon, which I didn't know that, said to me, "The brain does not heal up like a bruise on your arm. It doesn't have flowing blood in the sense of like an arm, and you can move the muscles and it pumps it through." This is vaguely what I remember, something about it. He said it takes longer for a bruise to come out of the brain. Well, in 1999, I woke up. What was that? 93, 99, 6 years later. I said, "Dad, what am I doing sitting here?" I was in his kitchen eating sausages. The last thing I remember was driving a cab. Well, in that time, I went out and bought myself a bus, and I travelled around the east coast of Australia. Luckily, I had a New South Wales Sydney cab licence and a New South Wales country cab licence. So to answer those questions, all those people, one bloke thought I was being a bit heavy on Ian. Ian knows this. I've travelled everywhere, and because I'm very, very lucky, in the sense that I owned a 10-ton bus and I turned it into a house when I had brain damage, and I built it, and I've got the photos to prove it. So, Ian, if you want to come down to Australia at any time, it would be my greatest, sincerest honour to show you and your family around and teach you. And if you want to get Australian citizenship, we'll help you get. And this is no small feat. There's many thousands of people trying to get into Australia, and they just won't let them in. So my room is in absolute shambles next door. So I grabbed a couple of photographs. Now, this is for you, Ian, and all the other ones out there thinking, "Who's this Mr. Hominoid?" They've never heard of me, because they're Australians that used to go to work Monday to Friday and do their jobs. One lady commented, "Oh, I used to drive past the guy tucker box twice a day." Well, I used to go past it too. I was actually the guy. Yeah, I'm the guy. I love saying that. I inspected the railway lines. Now, Ian already knows this, all the disused railway lines throughout the state of New South Wales, but he doesn't know where they are. But you people in New South Wales do. Right, I did the Tumbarumba back to Wagga Wagga, and that's why I know the word crow in Wagga Wagga, right? I don't know every single Aboriginal meaning of every single town name. Of course not. It's not my purview, right? Now, Batlow then goes on to Gilmore into Tumut, which then comes back up around and across to Gundagai, and then from Gundagai, it comes back over there to Cootamundra. Why is that? Because I'm the guy that walked across, and the last guy ever to walk across the Gundagai wooden railway bridge. I'm that guy, that bridge's railway inspector. And I'll have that certificate till the day I die. I'm about one of the only guys left that have the full-blown authority with full indemnity, which means I can't sue the railways if I drop dead, to go on any railway bridge in the state of New South Wales without even having to contract SRA today. Because I signed a full indemnity contract with the New South Wales government some 25 years ago. And I said, how long does this last? I said, this will last you the rest of the lot. No matter what our railways do, you still have the power to go out there and inspect a bridge and pull it up to the state government's attention, and they've got to listen to you. So I'm the for the disused railway lines in New South Wales. That's why I do Byron Bay to Mawulumba, place of the possums. You possums. Mate, you could have a sense of humour. You drive a cab in Sydney metropolitan area for 17 years. You know how depressing that is? Oh, mate, just want to get into Darlinghurst. We're going in there for the game Mardi Gras. Oh, mate, I've got to go to North Sydney to the general meeting over there for the so-and-so convention. Oh, mate, can you tap out to Wild Beach? Oh, I love my Wild Beach. I love being up there at Wild Beach, Palm Beach, Martinvale, Terry Hills. Ooh. Anybody else want to try a few other ones like Cronulla and Woolooware and Carring Bar and all the other ones there and Colonel, and mate, I could just rattle them all off. I used to be the guy sitting in the radio room. You say, car back at our city, northwest coast, or blip. Anyway, he knows all that. See, I used to do it for a living. I'm one of the last legends alive. Even my boss said that. He said, you're one of the last legends alive. I've done the GPS satellite tracking under the Reg Commode and Taxis Combined Services in Sydney, which is now the GPS you use in your car here in Australia. That was through SigTech and Raywood Industries down in Melbourne. And SigTech is in Alexandria, and they're still there to this day, Regent Street. And we drove around from 1997 to before the Olympic Games. And we had to, I was actually, I did two things. I did the communications room of the satellites. I did a story on it down there on my channel and how to line the satellites up. And that's why that was under the THEO HAYEZ story, the missing backpacker from Belgium. I've been involved in that one with the private investigators up there in Byron Bay. Now, see, so people from Tumut and Tumbarumba and Batlow, you comment about the Snowy Mountain Scheme. Okay, Snowy Mountain Scheme. That's the greatest thing ever started up after World War II. We had all the immigrants come out here after World War II, the Italians, Greeks and Greeks and all the other ones that come out here, and they built the Snowy Rivers Mountain Scheme to get this country out of a Great Depression after World War II. And it's either starve in the streets of Sydney, and the lines for the food child ban in Sydney was right up Broadway. And I've seen photographs of it by my grandmother, who was born in 1900. She died in 1984, and she told me everything about it. Yes, Ian. From Central Station, there was a food line right up out of Broadway in Sydney, people in queues to get free food after World War II and the Great Depression. So people were living in these tents and shacks, 0 degrees, building the Snowy Mountain Scheme way back in 1950 after World War II. Now, there's a very famous photograph. It's called the Batlow hominoid photograph. See, I'm Mr. Hominoid. And it's a picture that's been shared on several TV shows. This guy and his mate was down there working in the Snowy Mountain Scheme. So I'm not having to go at all those people that made a comment, right? I'm just letting you know. I'm very well versified in Australian, New South Wales history, not Victoria, not Queensland. I've never said that. I've always been New South Wales. The great Batlow picture, and a guy and his mate, two mates, went for a walker down there through Batlow, and they crossed over a creek and they sat down on a log And the guy got his box brownie camera out and he took a photograph. And his mates got back and they went back across the stream down in Batlow, New South Wales. And when they sent the picture in back into Sydney, which was weeks later, because they had to, this is back in the 1950s, it's black and white pictures, got the two guys sitting on a log, and right behind them is a 10, 12-foot tall hominoid sitting there in the picture, in the background. So if I can quickly see if I can find that, famous Batlow picture. So, yeah, I've heard around, I've seen a lot of things. I love hearing all the Australian stories and Australian facts. And a fact to me is a photograph. If you show me a photograph of something, I've got to believe it because I took a photo. So I said, Ian, I travel around in Australia in a bus between Sydney, Melbourne and Cairns. Well, most other people, really got to look at this to understand it. There's the bus wiper blade. And there's the overhead wires and the tram tracks, me travelling down Sydney Street in Melbourne. That's the bus wiper blade. Why would it be so high up from the ground? So that's me in Melbourne. Anybody recognises those places there? Right, that's me driving my bus in Melbourne. This was one of me going gold prospecting. Now, when you go out of Sydney, you learn there's things that everything is named after English names. New England Highway, Pacific Ocean, Ben Lomond out of Wales, with Church, Queen Elizabeth Drive, George Street, and named after King George and whatever else, right? Phillip Street, named after Prince Philip, whoever, right? That's Australia's. As you know, in America, you fought off the British, and that's how America's Cup got started, because the Americans went past the defeated British and they went past and they saluted them, and they rode back home and they said, God save the Queen or something, and that was way back in American history. I mean, that's American history. I mean, Right, this is me. Go north of Sydney up into the New England area, up to a town called Glen Innes, and then from there I went northwest, which would be that, I don't know which way you're looking at me on the camera, and drew north. I can't think of the name of the town. See, and I forget, I'm getting old. I was on the way out there to Moree. I went up there gold prospecting. And you can clearly see the radio in the bus, and there's that same map street directory I still got to this day. And that's me going up in the New England area, going to gold prospecting. On the camera, on the screen, looks backwards, but yes, I am on the left-hand side of the road. This looks like I'm on the right-hand side, but no, I'm on the left. It's just reversed in this picture. Well, good look there. That's the New England and northern New South Wales. How you can tell is how low the clouds look and the width of the roads and the countryside. Very flat, very yellow, spacious gum trees. And there you can still see the bus wiper blade again. And there's my pair of back wheels after I had a brake failure. So there you go. There's the two back wheels. There's the side of the bus when I was building it, and there's the front door where I was fixing the skin, and I was putting in the 15-pound power plug. You have a male and a lid on it on the side of a caravan, and you plug your 15-amp female plug in. Well, that's why I had the panel up there, see? And you can see there's inside wall that makes the house, and that pole right there is the, where is it? Is the pole just inside the door. And I just took that piece of aluminium off to go and fit the skin, and over here my mate's got his bus. So when I see how big my bus is, it was 12.5 metres long and weighed 10 tonne. So yeah, it was quite big. This is all Coca-Cola cameras, people. The little Coca-Cola camera and the roller film. This is not your digital fancy cameras. This is all the old good old stuff. This is the old road, the New England Highway going north out of Scone. That's on the New England Highway. That was in a car. You can see the steering wheel there. That was in the car when I was driving up to Tenterfield. They're going to do the disused railway line up there. There's a Cootamundra railway line at Cootamundra down the south, down towards Tumut and Batlow, Gundagai. That's how spacious that country is, Ian. Look at the big rolling hills, not many trees, and the train tracks were just wood thrown down on ballast, a couple of steel spikes, no big concrete sleepers, no nothing, way back in the old days type of railway line. And that's what I had to do. And I travelled around. Here's a nice colour photo. That's inside my bus as a house. Now, there's a bus window, there's the Venetian blinds, they're making the double bed frame, and my whole family is engineers and professors. So, yes, I handmade all that. That's pine line timber. I made all that myself, painted the glass, fitted the blinds. I got them especially from Ampol Australia Fuel Depot in Moore Street, Banks Meadow. So if any Australians want to go check it out. Ampol Australia used to have a fuel depot at number 4 Moore Street, M-O-O-R-E, Moore Street, Banks Meadow, which is now the site of the Toyota car storage facility. There's my TV in the bus. There's the linen. There's where my clothing's hung up, and there's my 12-volt colour TV set, 12-volt. Clearly see the power lead hanging down, and that door there opens up, and you join the two doors together and gave you privacy in the bathroom. There's another one, Ian. Me with, he's about 24 years old. That's my shorts hanging up, drying out, and we're in the car park. So, where was that? Coolangatta, I think, or somewhere. Right at the moment where they're having a big thing on the coronavirus, the border. So you've got my shorts hanging up on the rear vision mirror. There's the bus door with the steel bars in it to keep the people out. Anybody that smashed the glass, they still couldn't get in. There's the front dash. Underneath that there is where I put the radiator bottle, because the radiator bottle used to be lower than the motor. Well, we all know what's going to happen there. You can't get the air out. So I moved it and put it up underneath the dash up the front, and that's what I did. And there's another one in the back with the blinds up with the same TV set. And here's me building the back of the bus with the dog looking at me. That's the back wall of the bus, and I took those two red triangle beams out and I put in a set of boots. They're a boot door. So when I went to bed, stinking hot heat in a bus made out of steel, you sweat to death. I swelled the doors up and the cool air to come in. There's my gas hot water system for the bus, run on LPG underneath the bus, and there's a double bed frame. But this mattress here was in that bus. And you can see there's my GUNR railway sign down the back down there. See that GUNR sign? I still got that here today. I still got that same hot water system too. That's down the back in a caravan. So that's a bed base. And that's me in 1993 travelling up to Cairns. Now, so, oh, yeah, right, yeah, right, yeah, okay. That there is the stinging tree in North Queensland. If you touch that stinging tree, it'll send you mentally insane. Go Google that one up. That's in Melbourne. Now, Ian, you wonder why I like the name Ian. Well, the other day I made a video and I started crying on camera and I took the video down. It's too private. I'm missing my son. Now, his name is Ian. Can you see the family resemblance? His mother named him Ian because she used to always call me Ian. but my name is not Ian. You know my real first name. And then before I met my own son, Ian, my other best mate was Ian again. This Ian. So that Ian, if you see yourself or my Ian, make contact with you. Anyway, no, I'm not quite. I'm just going to run your nose. I'm going to go down today, and I'm going to go down and do Mr. iRocker and Crouton Bear a favour. I'm going to go down to the city of Sydney, and I always talk about I go everywhere, man. I go everywhere, man. And I'm going to go down there and do Curability. Now, Ian says, okay, it's on Curability. All right, well, hang on. Curability in that song, I'm Everywhere, Man, is the residence of the Prime Minister of Australia. Great, the phone just died. Where'd the other one go? So that's where I'm going to go. And the true story was John Howard's son, when he was Prime Minister, John Howard's son, he got done for drugs. Anybody remember that? Well, he had to keep out of the oh, look at that. Ian iRocker, we're all here to help you. Look, I just got a notification. YouTube, yeah, right. So let's just. I think we know Ian's on YouTube. Man, I've never seen so many nice comments about you, Ian, on YouTube. So I'm doing it again. I'm watching this stupid thing here, and I give up on it. Right. How do I know the name of some towns are Indigenous? Well, it's only because when I got to work there, I look them up for the sake of looking them up. So when I put them on a railway report back in the day, and that's how I know Crows and Wollongbows, land of the possums. And I used to go out with a fully black Aboriginal person. So there you go. And she was the most kindest person you'd ever meet. You know, your wife is, where's she from? Mexico, Spain, something? I don't know. You know, I've never picked up on it yet. Hello, beautiful. Mrs. iRocker. Beautiful kids. Good on you. So I just, Andrew, son's named Andrew. I've always missed it. I don't know why. Anyway. Again, so if you want to get your Australian citizenship, I'm quite sure there'll be a lot of Australians out there busting their guts to help you. What was one of the comments? Some old guy said something about I'm taking a piss out of you, or I'm a bit up myself or something. No, I was just in a really happy mood. I just thought, oh, here we go, another American. You know, he's waffling on about Australia, and I thought, yeah, you're going to big note himself, get all the. Sorry, but this is where you think, you know, when you first come across, you think, oh yeah, here goes another YouTuber, another Mr. Beast. He gets out there and blah 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 blah, and then they do something different, right? I've spoken about that before. I used to like watching Mr. Beast, and then all of a sudden, then it was $1,000 for a bloody pizza. And he started off by making his money by helping the homeless. What the hell's he doing buying $1,000 worth of pizza with gold leaf on it and eating $1,000 pizza? I mean, to me, that's just insane. That's not what you started out to be, mate. That's Mr. Beast. I just went right off him. He showed me that. I even left him a comment. You get out and look at his comments. You'll see Mr. Hominoid. I'm not going to watch anymore or something like that, all right? Made me sick. Didn't want to see it. He just got too up above himself. But Ian, you said a bit of bloke. You really love Australia. You really love Australian cars. You really love that. Yes, there is a Holden Kingsford out there. Yes, you can have it. It does run, but I've been too sick to do anything. But if you get your Australian citizenship, you get out here, well, we'll get it all done, registered over here. Then you can drive around over here on your holidays and then ship it back with you. So it's a 308 Holden Kingswood HZ, dual headlights, a big bull bar on the front, plus they've got original bumper bar off another one with the clear rubber, the black rubber that goes across the front of that. and it's got cloth yellow seats, and it's been sitting in the garage, and it does turn, but no, I've just been too sick to get out there. So I'm downsizing everything. I'll get rid of my truck. I'm getting rid of my tractors. I'm getting rid of my cars. I'm getting rid of everything. I'm getting too old. I don't want to die and leave all these cars and trucks lying around. Everybody's going to come and say, how the hell are we going to get rid of all this stuff now the old bastard's dead, you know? So that's why I'm just giving stuff away. I'm giving cars away. I'm giving trucks away. I'm giving tractors away. I'm selling a tractor to a guy. The tractor, he's going to Central Coast. He's getting that. Just got to finish painting it. That's a Massey Ferguson, 1956. So a lot of things out there, a lot of people don't know about Mr. Omroyd. I don't put it on YouTube. I'd be a bloody idiot if I did. What's the quickest way to get yourself robbed? Is get on YouTube and walk around the house and show everybody how big your TV sets are and where the safe is. I mean, how many times have you seen people doing stupid things like that? They say, oh, this is me. I'm Mel Smith. I'm going away for a week's holiday. Remember when Facebook first came out and people used to boast that, oh, we're going away for 6 weeks holidays? And then people would come around, they come back from holidays and their house had been burglarised and robbed and there was nothing left. And then the police got on the TV and said, don't go around putting on social media that you're going away on holidays. Don't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody I was going to Mooloolaba when I actually left. I said I was thinking about going to Mooloolaba. I am going to Mooloolaba to film the Byron Bay solar power train, but I did not give a specific date. And I just walked out the door here at 5 o'clock in the morning. My neighbours never even knew I left. Nobody knew I left, not even my own brother. And I went to Byron Bay and filmed the solar powered train, the E&I rocker and crewed on Bear. And that's why I was up there. I said, oh, buy a train. I was, Neil, come back. Because I just got there right at the last minute and it was going away into the sheds parking for the night. It's not a regularly run train. It only runs as a tourist attraction during the day at Byron Bay. And it's the only solar powered train in the world. And I helped start it. I did the railway track inspection in 2006. And then it finally come onto the rails in 2019. Was it 2017? 2017, they finally put the Byron Bay solar power train on the tracks. And it was $330,000 per kilometre to rebuild the tracks, new steel sleepers and all that. And that's what I do. I go all over the state of New South Wales. And I did do the disused railway lines. And to support myself buying food, I had my New South Wales country cab licence. So I did not need to get New Start or any other sort of government aid. I could just go to work in a country town, drive in a local country cab, which then enabled me to talk to people. I said, oh, how do you get out to where the so-and-so bridge is? You know, on my first day. And I'd learn the town in a day because most country towns would. And then after about a week of driving a cab in a country town, you learnt the whole bloody lot. All the locals, like Ian, on your comments, people want to tell you everything about Australia, the Snowy Mountain Scheme, the Gundagai and the Tucker Bogs and waited for his owner and the loyalty of the dog. And that's why I said the dog on the Tucker Bogs. So I only hit you with a couple of the most famous common ones here in New South Wales, which is Tumut, Gundagai, Mooloolaba, which is famous for the world bananas, Batlow up the road, which is Batlow apples, and also the Batlow story with a big hominoid. So I'm just going to quickly, while I'm doing this, sorry if I'm not looking at you. I should have had all this keyed up, but the phone dropped out. Batlow. Here we go. And let's see if it comes up here. Batlow. Rich Jones, 1932. Right. Rich Jones, 1932. Batlow Yowie image. Explained at last. Portrait of. Where is it? Now let's see if I just bring the picture of it up, Ian. This is going to shock you. Looks like a Yowie has done a big story on it. YHA, Yowie Hunters Australia, Ian. If you want to see things on Bigfoots in Australia, that's a story you can do. You can do live streaming. Look up all the Yowie stories in Australia, and you'll find there's one there in 1903 at Byron Bay at the solar powered train. And the guy slipped in sugarcane fields because I'm just a hominoid, which is also a Yowie, right? A hominoid is a hominid, which is caveman, Stone Age man, whatever. Go back on that one. That's not it. Where is it? Oh, come on. Here we go. 11, my hometown of Batlow ideas, town craft cider, Bigfoot news, Ratch Gardeners board, my hometown. See, there's a lot of these things on social media. See Batlow again. Hometown of Batlow, right? You know, really annoys me when I can't find what I want to find. I got it somewhere on a disc. What's this here? Oh. Anyway, so Ian, anything you want to know about New South Wales? Why I know so much about New South Wales? Because I was lucky enough to choose the roads in my life, or as we say, the rivers of my life, that I went exploring around the whole state of New South Wales. I had a motorhome and I had a country cab license, which kept me fed. And that's what I did. And I made my living. And that's basically what I did. I had the greatest job in the world, driving a cab in country towns, driving a cab in Sydney, developed the wheelchair cabs for the 2000 Olympic Games, got a letter from the then Minister of any New South Wales person thinks I'm crapping them. Carl Scully was the Minister of Transport. He sent me out a letter of thank you, former MP of the Labor government, for developing the wheelchair cabs for the 2000 Olympic Games. No, I wasn't wearing my Cuba hat then when I went to work there. I was wearing a blue uniform, which I've actually still got. So if anybody really wants to see it, I'll quite happily go get it out. No, bugger it. I will go get it out. So just for you, Ian, I'll show you my old Sydney 2000 Olympic Games cab uniform, which is something that a lot of people didn't realise, that all cab drivers had to be in uniform for the 2000 Olympic Games here in Australia 21 years ago. 2 seconds. This was our uniform. See, we had the epaulets and you wear your epaulets. And taxis combined services. See, TCS. Right, and that's a pullover one we had, and then we had full length jumper and the pants, and the shirts also had epaulets. So yeah, I'm not a bullshit artist. I have travelled around the whole east coast of New South Wales, and then as I said, I drove up to Cairns and Northern in my limo that I made back in 1993, and I also up there in my bus. I drove my bus right up to Mossman in Norfolk Cairns, MOSSMAN. See, you think if I wasn't there, I'd spell it with one S. No, it's 2 S's. MOSSMAN, North Queensland. I went up there to the showgrounds up there. I worked in the carnival rides with my bus. I was helping a friend out. I wasn't up there for the money. I was up there because he needed help, because he was a bit sick. So I drove my bus from Sydney, like a true Aussie, or a fool, whichever way you want to look at it. I drove all the way to Cairns, and I got up to him. I said, right, I'm here. And he goes, oh, well, I didn't think you're really going to show up. And I said, yeah, I'm here. You're a mate. And that's what Aussies do. We stick by each other. So I drove a 10-ton bus from Sydney to Cairns, and he was shocked to see that I showed up. And my mate Pete is still alive, who I often talk about, even on the channel. He's still alive, and he's 76 years old. And he said, yeah, that's just you. You just show up. If you want help, I show up. Another guy rang me up in west of Brisbane one night when I was in Sydney. And he said, Mum's going to kick me out. Can you drive up to Queensland and pick me up? And I left Moore Street, Port Botany, and I drove all the way up west of Brisbane. I drove up there overnight, and I picked him up. And then on the way back, I went to sleep in a caravan park after I picked him up. Once I picked him up, then I could go to sleep. And that was 1,200 kilometres, because he was all south of Sydney, Botany, Captain Cook and all that sort of thing, Botany Bay, and through Sydney, then up through the New England, up through the Putty Road, right up through the New England, and come into the west side of Ipswich, and come into Brisbane and went and saved me mate because his mother was having a mental attack and he just wanted to get out of there. And I drove all the way up there in an XW Ford Falcon, Port Fairlane. Anyway, so there you go. So, I mean, that's what I do. I help a lot of people. Like now I do charity work, and I still do a lot of things there for charities. So, Ian, we are going to help you get whatever you want to get if you want to come to Australian citizenship. Or if you want to learn anything about Australia, by all means, please help me. The railway book of knowledge, because that was my job, a taxi driver in Sydney and the country town, so that's my job. That's why I know it, because I had to do it for a living. Like, I mean, you're going to quiz a carpenter and he's not going to answer the question about a hammer and nail? Of course he is. He's done it for how many years? It was his trade. That was my trade. New South Wales is my trade. That's what I did. I travelled around Australia and I moved people. That's what I did, mapping and coordinating. And that's why I helped solve the mystery of THEO HAYEZ at Byron Bay, which a lot of people on this channel, if you go down there and anybody else there from America, he's a Belgian backpacker, went missing in 2019 from Byron Bay on the 1st of June. Nothing was ever found of him. His clothing, nothing. But nobody did what I did and went up there and said, what was the tide? And everybody said, what do you mean? I said, well, he was on the beach. What was the height of the tide? Was it coming in? Was it going out? Was it raining? Was it windy? Where was he? Which way was the current flow? Which way was whatever? That explains why his mobile phone was there and his clothes were gone and other certain things. And then I had a set of keys there from THEO HAYEZ, and down on my channel, people can get in and look at it. I said, a private investigator showed up here today, picked up the car keys. Well, THEO HAYEZ, 2.5 years after he disappeared. And it turns out now some guy honestly just left his car keys on the beach 2 years later in the same spot. They're trying to make a big deal out of it. Told them that. Anyway. So, Ian, I've got to go down to Kirribilli House, where our Prime Minister come from, and Woolloomooloo. And I'm going to get down there, and but hurry up. I've got to catch my train. I'm not driving now. I'll catch the train down. Mate, it'll cost me bugger all. I'll get it for nothing. So I just go down to virtually nothing. And I'll go down to Woolloomooloo, and I'll shoot a bit of video footage down there for you. Woolloomooloo, Garden Island, Potts Point, which is, as I said, my father's mother's maiden name was Dorothy Potts, and it was her great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Nothing I did. It's just who my family is. So, Ian, I rock. Hope you see this. Hope you enjoy it. I'm buggering off. I'm going to have a cup of coffee, painkillers. And you can go and check out Crouton Bear. She's on rum. I keep saying rum boil. Rum bowl. Is it rum bowl? Oh, I've looked at. I've done the right name. I keep getting mixed up. Rum bowl, rum boil, rum bull, rum bowl. It's one of them anyway. It's Rumble. It's like a YouTube. You can actually cross-link YouTube with Rumble. Actually, if anybody other YouTubers don't know this, and did you know that you can cross iRocker with Rumble, and you get paid for it every time somebody clicks on it. It's something about $5 a hit. Yeah, $5 a hit. Imagine now you got 32,000 hits at $5 a hit. Yeah, go and check it out. You go and check out the website, mate. Go and check it out. That's why they're joining. That's why they're joined onto YouTube. And so you get paid. YouTube doesn't really pay you, right? lot of people use YouTube as a tool to make their money. And then they sell their shirts and their clothes and like Mr. Beast. I won't do that. I don't. I'm too old to wear garbage. You can, but I don't. I rock a t-shirts. I rock a hats. I rock a mate. You know what goes in beyond that? You got to get a warehouse. You got to get staff. You got to pay workers' compensation. You got to have insurances. You got to buy a building. Mate, just keep your show simple. It's great. Don't stuff it up. Keep it simple. You got how many thousands of viewers? How many thousands of people that are subscribers? Don't screw it up. Get on you, Ian and family. Big smile from down under Mr. Hominoid. I've got in Woolloomooloo and Kirribilli, or actually, I'll just film it. I'll film it from the outhouse. I call it the outhouse. It's not really. No, it's Australia's pride. I'm going to film Kirribilli House from across the harbour. So where am I, Ian? Here's a clue. Where am I standing to film the Prime Minister's house at Kirribilli, to film it across the harbour? Where would I be standing? Just a bit of fun. Nothing hard, mate. But don't be so mean on me or mean on Ian. I'm only having fun with Ian. He knows I'm having fun with him. Just having a bit of fun. Just make it, because he likes hooking up with a girl. Oh, hang on, whereabouts would he be? Give me a look. Where's Sydney? All right, now. Okay, there's Kirribilli House. What's it? Oh, that's across the harbour. Oh, right, now I see what you're talking about. See, I'm educating you. Do your homework. Don't forget the old saying from your school teacher. Go home, son, go do your homework. She never learned nothing. See you later. See you, Ian. Bye, Crouton. Yeah, go and check out Crouton Bear. I'm Rumble. Rumble. And of course I am. iRocker. He's a rocker. Ian, still got to tell me, do you want iRocker on your present or Ian? Which one do you want, Ian? Hurry up. Email me. Ring me, Mr. Hominoid Messenger. Or on Snapchat. I rang you, but you're not answering the phone. You can ring me back. Which one do you want, Ian or iRocker on your special present? Gotta go. Somebody wants me.